Well, anyways, it's a pleasure to have you on, Drew.
Likewise. It's good to be here.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you. It's been a while. So you own Diamond Pro Detailing here locally.
Diamond Pro Detailing, correct.
Want to tell us a little bit about how you started and what you do?
Starting a long time ago. It'll be 9 years in December. So
Oh, wow, 9.
initially just started working at a golf course. I was cleaning clubs, cleaning dirt off clubs for members, and always had a desire to clean cars. Like when I got my license, I'd clean my car for 3-4 times a week, whether it was clean or not. And then I just down the road knew that I wanted to start something in the detailing industry.
It just clicked, sort of.
Yeah, it didn't hit me until like after college and stuff like that. And then I got around, moved down here, kind of figured out what type of clientele was here, and worked at a golf course, found that out quick, and then was doing like.
It doesn't take long to learn.
No, three cars a month turned into 3 cars a week, and it's just like.
It just compounded.
And then.
So wait, let's circle back a little bit. I think we've talked about this a little bit before. So you played baseball in college,
Yeah, so
right?
I played all through college. I played at a D3 school called Aurora University in Chicago, just south of Chicago. And then ended up playing professionally for 3 more years after that, and then I retired.
Awesome.
Yeah, it just got to be minor league baseball. It's a grind, man. I was making in my 3rd year, I was making $1,200 a month pre-tax.
Really?
So like
That's
pre-tax, yeah. So after tax, after everything, I was walking with like $480 every 2 weeks.
yeah. And this must have been, this is probably before like all those like laws and stuff passed. Like,
Yeah.
where pretty
This
much
was
these
20.
athletes are banking now.
Oh yeah, like a first round draft pick these days gets $6 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
Probably more, but yeah, I mean this is gonna date me a little bit. This was in 2015. 2015, I think, is when I retired.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's a lot different now.
No, it's different. It was funny too because I was actually telling you I know another person who's in like a super similar situation to you who played baseball through college, and then I guess he tried to go pro, and then now he's detailing. And I was like training him a little bit with another buddy. I think you know Daniel. Daniel and I were like training him, but he was just having like so much trouble like coming from like he went straight from baseball to that. So,
Really?
Yeah.
It's super complex these days though. Like detailing when I was 16 was literally a bucket and a chamois and soap. Like there was literally nothing else. And now it's there's a product for everything, and there's 50 different variations of these products, and I mean you just kind of pick something to go with it. So I can assume how it would be hard to grasp if you were to try and learn it today.
Right.
Because before, when I started, it was basic, it was easy, and then you just kind of progress. Now it would be a little tough.
Yeah. Let's speaking of that, like simplicity. Something my brother, funny enough, wanted to touch on was quick washes. Being in the detail industry, what do you think of those?
It's not a detail; it's a car wash.
Right.
So I mean, you can't be in a detail business and do quick washes. You can, but I mean.
And then you see that though. You can see that difference between a quick wash and a
and
true
like
detail.
somebody, like myself, like I'm extremely OCD. So like I can't even walk away from a car if there's a drip spot on a mirror. Like I have to have that done. So, I mean, it has its place in the business as long as that's structured to a client and they understand that that's what they're getting.
Yeah.
But I think they're 2 separate things. There's a lot of car washers out there, and there's a lot of detailers, and there's a lot of detailers that call themselves detailers that they're actually
just washing cars.
car washers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So subtly.
Yeah. So like I was telling him a little bit earlier, he was asking about you and your company and stuff, and I was telling him, yeah, like at least in my opinion, you can make this a statement or not. You run the largest detailing company in Southwest Florida.
I mean, I try and be like low key about it. Yeah, I mean, right now with one of our vans, we would put out like 150 cars a month. So, and now I have another van on the road, and that one's been there for 2 months now. So we should be
A solid congrats on that. That's huge.
Appreciate it. We should be in the 180 to 200 car range a month.
And how many employees do you have right now?
Right now I have 5 total, 4 full-ish time, and then 1 is like relatively new, a couple weeks, and growing hopefully. But the goal is to be around 300 in the next 6 to 8 months, maybe a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Goal though, not the cap. That's the goal.
Well, I'd
can't put a cap on it.
probably cap it because you get to a point where it's quality control, right? So at 150, you're 3 to 4 a day for 6 days a week, 5-6 days a week. So it's the main thing in the detail business is quality. So yeah, you could put out 600 cars, but if they're low quality, then there's no point, right? So I think 300 would be excessively like over the top. It's my goal, but as long as I can meet the quality and maintain quality.
Maintain the quality. Yeah. No, that's important. That's what I know you've been doing for the past like 8 years, and that's how you've built the clientele you have. What I was explaining to him a little bit earlier is that put it into numbers or put it into charts. You might not be the biggest detail shop or the biggest in revenue. As you and I both know, there's pretty big shops here. But why I call you the biggest detailing company is because I've been in all those big shops. I've met all the other detailers, and I haven't met someone who's kept even 50 of the same clients from when they started. And you've now built and maintained over 200, clients over the past 8 years, which is insane. And that has a lot to say about like how you handle your customers and how you handle each job. And
well, that's the most important thing. I mean, you can have clients, or you can have customers and clients. People need to understand the difference, right? Customers, one-time thing, clients over time. So I think I haven't really put a number on it, but I think my client retention rate should be like 95%. I mean, over 8.5 years, I think I've lost like 5 people.
Right.
Some of that's like to old age. Some people just get to a point where they don't want to pay for it anymore. I lost one dude 2 years ago because I didn't get the COVID shot. So he told me never to come back.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
Like I was taking care of him bi-weekly for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then like COVID came around and he got freaked out, and I would never get the shot. I don't want to get on that, but I didn't get it. So he like immediately
Not going to go to podcast number one. We're not getting off track here, but
that was like 5 years ago, so we'll keep it in 5 years ago. But
yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so he's just like don't come back then, and I'm like, all right, I just walked away. So just little things like that. We never lose anything to quality or anything. So customer relations, client relationships is really priority number one.
Yeah. So that to me is almost what I was able to stem out of the industry was like the customer and client relations, and then obviously the marketing side of it.
Yeah. Which is
what I combined with him.
So you work with him on marketing and all that?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, that's another big industry, man. I mean, it's just, for me, like I've fortunately been able to stay under the advertisement side. I really don't spend too much time on advertisement. It's mainly word of mouth and everything. So I think now I'm finally at a point where I finally have a crew of people where I can afford to put some money into it and get some advertisements out. But yeah, I mean, a simple $200 ad can get you 50, 60 clients.
Right. I mean, it can be tough in the beginning if you don't have a lot of capital, and there's other things you think in your head you could be investing that in that is going to work, and it's not. It's going to be guaranteed. 100%.
It is a risk now. Like, it is a risk marketing as much as it is detailing. It's a very oversaturated market.
Oh yeah.
To me, honestly,
in this area especially,
I can't tell if detailing or marketing is oversaturated now. If you had to ask me, I can't give you a straight answer. They're both extremely oversaturated. Yeah. But I love that part of it, because like that's just like, to me, like that's just like that little bit more like motivation, that little tick, like that I just have to do that much more.
It's another separator. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like in the detail. Any business, like it's obviously there's a million restaurants, a million clothing stores, a million this, a million that. So it's what you offer to stand out.
Right.
There's 10 detailing shops who offer essentially the same thing, but what's different? Like, what do you do that's different?
Exactly.
And that's what's going to keep you in business, because I mean, same thing with real estate. I got my real estate license. It's very saturated.
That's probably the biggest saturated market.
Right.
I think we can say that before.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, literally, you could sell one house and be set for a year.
In this market.
Or more.
Especially in Southwest Florida.
Yeah. So it
definitely goes along with almost like every other industry. Like even in the detailing industry, I had 2 clients that were asking if I had my realtor license because they were just looking to purchase through me. Yeah.
See, but that goes back to client relations. So it's like I take care of people's cars, right? I clean their cars, but it's, I have all my clients. I think one of the best things is that I'm like first name basis with them. I keep tabs with them all the time. And that's, 150 to 200 people that I know that close.
Right.
So then it stems down to, the power of networking. So, just because I clean their cars, now, anything else could stem from that because they know you as a person.
It just opens a million doors.
So it's like, I started another company, and that right now that's handling transport. So I bought a transport trailer, all that kind of stuff. And the very first job I had was like 1.2 million in cars. So it's like you have to build that trust for somebody just to be like, okay, yeah, transport my cars, 2,100 miles across the country. And that goes for everything.
Yeah.
Because somebody on the real estate side that could turn into something else. Right. Or like you said, just from cleaning their cars, it'll turn into, could you sell my house, or could you find me this, or do this for me and do this for me? And that's literally all it takes. It's networking.
Exactly. Though some of the most successful people like started doing either, caddying for people or washing cars.
Well, there's crazy money in that already. Like caddies.
Yeah. I was, one of my buddies, his sister was dating this kid who used to caddy over on like Trump's course. And this kid was just from that, like the jobs he was offered being a caddy there were like jobs that would have paid that kid like $500,000, $750,000 a year, which he still turned down over his caddy job because he saw the value more in building relationships.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd rather stay here another couple of years and have 10 opportunities. Like,
look at the people you're dealing with there. That's not normal people.
No.
Well, if he ever met with Trump, it's Trump and all, it's like the top 5% people in the world that go to that course. Or can afford to play on that course.
Yeah,
just to walk in there.
Yeah, no kidding. Just to get in there enough is
right. But then they're just people. That's all they are. And if you know how to relate to someone and like especially appeal to someone's emotions, and you're able to solve a problem, you're in.
That's entrepreneurship to a key, man. Just solving problems, but it also comes down to trust and networking, finding the right people to trust you to do literally anything.
Yeah.
And that's it. All for me, it all started by cleaning cars, like the littlest, tiniest little thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm fortunate to have the clientele that I do, and who they are and all that they do in their lives. You represent them, and then then it just stems from there.
Exactly. I almost see like detailers like you, especially on like weekly washes, like you're almost like a family member to them. You have their garage code, you have their car keys. Mm-hmm. You're there first
House
thing in the morning.
Yeah. You hang out with them. I have numerous like weekly clients, and a couple of them call me family, and that's that's extremely humbling, especially in a business when you just clean their cars, but they consider you family for what you do. And I have a ton of clients that are super grateful, like they all are, but just quality, amazing, genuine people.
Yeah.
And it's humbling, man. It makes you want to get up and go to work and deal with these people and literally do anything for them because they would literally do everything for you.
Exactly.
And it's a blessing,
that's
man.
The difference between a customer and a client.
Yeah.
Have you ever stopped working with someone because you just didn't like
one person?
What was, if you don't mind me asking, how did that go down?
We just didn't mesh, man. there was kind of a little bit of
from the beginning, or
no. Everybody's different, right? Everybody handles things a little bit differently, but it just didn't line up, and I just felt like there was a little bit of disrespect for me. And then when I would send my guys out, I would feel a little bit of disrespect that they gave me some stories and feedback and stuff. So I just had to cut ties, and literally just two people. One other one was they were just horrible in like respecting what I do for them, and they would take 3 or 4 weeks to pay me, and they have the funds to pay me on time. And you just learn down the road that when a situation is over, it's over. And there's plenty more clients, but yeah, fortunate to not have to deal with people like that all the time.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, I know you can.
I have to.
I was waiting for you.
Yeah.
How can I word this?
I'm not gonna.
Even to who that person is to me, I can't like go against what you're saying because you have
Yeah,
it's
no,
a-
I mean,
you
and,
have a
and
valid-
there's
you
there's
have a
no
valid
harsh
point.
feelings. Well, like, there's nothing harsh. It was literally just like I said. Everybody handles their things the way they do. Everybody goes through the way. Everybody goes through
everyone,
things.
like, and everyone's going through something.
Yeah. So it's just, and at that time in my business and my employees' business time, like I just couldn't. It wasn't worth the time.
right.
So just part of ways, and
Exactly. No, like sometimes
it is what it is. I'm sure that individual had to do that plenty of times in his life, and
Yep.
you move on.
I seen this quote the other day. It was like, sometimes people like sunsets, like they're there, and like when they're there, they're beautiful, but once they're gone, like that's it. You just got to appreciate it while they're there.
Yeah, it's part of the journey, man. I mean, everybody has those people that come and go, and in a business, it's going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
In a service-based business, you hope that it really doesn't, because obviously your long-term goal is to maintain people.
Right. Build long-term relationships. So sort of that almost stems into what we're doing now. So, I mean, obviously I had the yacht concierge company, which to me, actually, that was more of a client-based business model than the PPF and the wrap shop.
Yeah.
I love the cars. I love the PPF and the wrap shop. I mean, we were, as you know, at one point we were getting ready to like triple down, like not even double down. We were getting ready to triple down. But the only thing that I just couldn't see myself sticking with in that industry is they were customers. And this is what I was explaining to him earlier, and why I'm.
This is the yacht concierge part?
Why I'm having, what was that?
The concierge part? Or are you talking, that's what you're talking
I'm
about?
talking about Naples Detailing.
Okay.
The brick and mortar. Well, I was telling him a little bit more about why like I'm having you on here versus any of these other big shops is because they deal with customers.
Yeah.
They go put film on someone's car, they go wrap someone's car, and they don't see that person again for like a year or two.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and
versus like clients, like now like what you do and what we do, like where you're, building and establishing a relationship, laying down a foundation, and then you're growing with them.
Yeah.
And if you can't put yourself in that mindset to like where you want to grow with them, like you're just it's not gonna happen.
Well, yeah, and the problem I kind of see with it, and I say like pretty low key with things. I don't really speak out on a whole lot, but what I see with like a lot of these shops is they do amazing. They're good shops and everything, but I think they focus on volume more than anything. Right. So then when volume is your focus, what lacks?
Quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's like body shops down here. I've struggled I get asked every day, who's a good body shop? Who's a good body shop? I don't know. Right? Because the problem is there's so many accidents here, and there's so many like things that they have 300 cars sitting in their lot, right, to fix. So they're all on a time frame. So they just turn and burn cars. So that's what's happening kind of in the detailing world is the quality may be good, but it's not great, right? Mm-hmm. So, and especially in like the PPF world, ceramic coatings, all those like higher end, no one's going to want to pay $5,000 to $7,000 for a half job, right?
Right.
So it's, if somebody walks into my shop and says, I want to give you $8,000 to wrap my car, that thing would be in there for a week and a half if it had to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's a ton of money. Where I come from, like I come from a small town in Illinois where, somebody that makes $100K a year is like high status. So for somebody to come in on a luxury level and say, I want to spend $8,000 to put plastic on my car and protect my exotic car, like you're taking care of that person. So I think obviously, again, customer client relationships is huge because, when I get to that point and I find a location for my company, now I have personal relationships with so many people.
Right.
At that point, it'll probably be 250 to 300 people to create this huge, massive revolving door of services on an individual level. See, a lot of these shops, they love dealership contracts, which is great. It's great. It's
no, you can make
it's
a,
job.
you can
Yeah,
make a
you make a killing, job
but
security and everything, but you don't have relationships with people.
Right.
You have
And
relationships.
you're a businessman. You're a strict businessman.
And
it's a numbers game.
Building relationships.
Yeah, and like I said, you're not when in dealership contracts. You're literally you're getting cars dropped off every day, and it's a need. Like it needs to be taken care of. But for me, like I love people. I'm a networker. I love to talk to people, and that's to build a large scale business. That's what you need. And it's because there's so much more. And then when you get to that point where you're only focused on volume, there's no longevity in that. I don't
Yeah.
feel like.
No, and that's
And on top of that, I really don't think it pays that well because
we've seen it. We've seen a textbook definition example of it, of how fast you could lose it because there's no relationship built. It's business. It's pure business. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But at the same time, there's going to be that downside to it.
Yeah.
You know, which is where you could lose it.
Well, and if you're in a situation where you're about to fall off, but you have nothing to fall off to.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, if you don't have what it takes to build genuine relationships and you're literally just a service, if that service falls off, now what?
Exactly.
You know, now you got to struggle to figure it out. Like, it's just, I think a lot of things get overseen.
Right. Versus with what you do and the customer base you have, you could wake up tomorrow and be like, hey guys, just want to let you know I'm done detailing, but I've got this clothing brand if you guys want to check it out. Guarantee you 25%, 30% of your clients would go buy a shirt.
Exactly.
But
that's the good part because as my business continues to grow and as the new one takes off, I have to kind of baby step into that one right now. But the minute I open my mouth to my clients, that's all I need to do.
Right.
That's what, I don't need to go, spend $2,000 on advertisement to get a new idea out.
Yeah. So is that transporting company that's out there now? Because I remember you were trying to hint it to me. I knew, by the way. I knew that's what it was.
I don't know, man. I'm a very low key type of dude.
No, I love it.
I like to be under the radar until I know for a fact it's going to be up and running. That's the best way to be. I believe in karma, and I just when I was playing baseball, I was good, but I never said anything, right? Because you go out there with an ego and you think that you're the best and you tell people you're the best.
Life will show you.
Exactly. I'll go out to pitch one night and I'll get obliterated, Yep. And it's just you can't, you just can't. I mean, so you
gotta learn from it though. I'm not gonna lie. I sat here, I learned that lesson firsthand this year. I went into this industry really loud. Yeah. I think it definitely helped me in one way. I don't think I would have been able to do the volume or even amount closely to what I accomplished in that short amount of time if I hadn't come with that approach. But I saw the downside of it for sure. So
see, but there's a fine line. Cockiness, arrogance, ego, all of that. Right. There's always a fine line with that. So obviously in life, you want to feel like you're good at what you do, right? But speaking out so loudly, always trying to voice your opinion on things and make people hear you is a weakness. So
right, screaming for attention in a way.
Exactly.
Correct.
So it's just in baseball, my numbers and my performance was how I would show and speak.
Speak louder than words.
I mean, the most famous quote ever. So it's just that. So I mean, your work needs to be your words, and that's just how it is.
Exactly.
But always be confident in yourself. That's a fine line.
You have to have at least in a man, you have to have some bit of ego instilled in you. It's
that's what I'm saying.
A little bit,
yeah, ego's good and bad.
Ego's good. So, it's learning to control it, and that's really what I've learned this past.
Within your ego, you know to what extent.
Yeah, like you said, that fine line, exactly, and that's really what I learned this past year is. I haven't necessarily ditched my ego. It's still there. It's in every man out there. You can't deny it. It's how you control it. It's how
you'll never lose it.
It's how you control it and how you present it.
But when you lose it, then I feel like I'm a competitor. I played baseball for 24 years. So if you lose that ego, then your desire to work hard.
No hunger.
Yeah, there's no hunger.
Right.
You just kind of fade away. So understanding that ego is a good thing and not necessarily a bad thing. A bad ego will drown you in a heartbeat. A good ego just continues to push and strive and be better at what you're doing. And I think that's just another thing. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to come into something strong and confident.
Yeah.
But just understand when it might have been a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And
a couple times
and learn from it. I mean, the biggest thing is there's no failure if you learned a lesson, right? So It's only a failure if you quit. It's a failure if you didn't learn. Because if you go in and you fail and then you're like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
Then you're done. Because if you can't learn from your mistakes, then you lose.
You
Failure,
lose at life at that point.
failure is only failure if you quit. If you just quit after, but you can fail a million times. But if every time you fail, you look back at what you did wrong, recount, and go back at it again with new light,
Approach.
then that makes all the difference.
Self-awareness. So, I mean, it's understanding that, you know, in sports, for me in baseball, failed a million times. Had terrible games, had this, had that. But you learn, and you have to take a step back and learn and kind of see things. And it's also allowing yourself to, like, withstand criticism. Because
Constructive.
if you can't have someone tell you, like, hey, I think you're doing this wrong, and you think, no, I'm not, you'll never learn. You'll never grow. Because, you know, they say, like, a room full of people that think alike will never be, like, prosperous. Because they're all just going to agree with each other.
Right.
So you need a room full of people that essentially disagree, you know, agree to disagree, essentially.
Right.
Because that's how you learn.
Right. That almost ties into that saying, you should never be the smartest person in the room. I always try and put myself in a room where I'm the smallest person.
Yeah.
And to me, in the beginning doing that, I was like super uncomfortable doing that, but I love it now. Like, I love doing that. I love, like, even
Think about how quickly you learn.
Dude, like,
Because you're not minimizing yourself. You're literally just kind of putting yourself in a position to listen. And listening.
I was just gonna say that
is so hard. So because everybody wants to be the person that everybody wants to listen to. Like, everybody wants to listen to this person, or how do I say it? Like, this person wants to be the one that everybody listens to.
People like to talk about themselves, and they go into, I mean, I've seen this in front of my eyes. People go into meetings with people, and then they start, you know, just talking about themselves when you need to focus on what the other person. And, you know, the best way I've found to build meaningful relationships, and I learned this from a mentor of mine, is to just add value to people.
Exactly.
Just give help and expect nothing in return. If they do give you something in return, good, it was meant to be. If not, you just did something nice for someone.
Exactly.
So that's the best way.
There's nothing wrong with being nice to people.
So, I mean, if you're out there, you're detailing, I mean, something as simple as going into someone's yard and picking up some dog poop that you see, just something as simple as that. That's a way that makes a difference. And the homeowners, you know, it's just a simple detail that makes a world of a difference.
I swear, I bring my clients' garbage cans in all the time.
I know. I was gonna say too. I swear, I did not debrief him, but he's literally like repeating your lines.
Yeah. No, I mean
because that's what.
But that's what it takes.
That's what it is. It's what it takes. It's those little things. It's
because there's just in this industry, like I see a lot of people. They just show up, do the job, and they're done, which is perfectly fine. But I just believe to grow in any industry, you just need more. You know,
that's why
it's just little things.
You've been in business for the amount of time that you've been, and there's other people that I'm sure around your time that you started, I'm sure they're no longer here.
Yeah, I've noticed quite a few, and there's also about 100 of them starting up every day too. But
it's crazy now that we're.
And I see them all like sponsored on Instagram, like it's. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is you can never like dog on anybody for wanting to do their own thing.
No.
It's super saturated, and in this area, there's a billion cars. So, like, I can't handle them all. You can't handle them all. Like, the next 50 people can't handle them all. So,
no, exactly.
It's just,
and even to me, like, even the worst detailer in town or the worst businessman in town to me is probably one of the best people in today's world. Like, just getting there, just even trying, you're beating 99% of the other.
I mean, if you have the desire to get up and be like, I want to do better for myself, I'm going to start cleaning cars, or I'm going to do this or do that, or whatever it may be. That's it.
You're halfway there.
It goes to like the happiness.
You just need to know that, and a lot of people lose themselves in what everybody else is thinking.
Comparison.
And you know, you got to focus on yourself, and you have to. Again, that's why you need to be awareness, because if you don't have good awareness, you can screw yourself over by doing that. But yeah.
In this area, it's like comparison is one of the biggest like thieves of joy, because in this area, I mean,
creates jealousy.
There's everything. You know, there's insane wealth, there's nice cars, there's nice houses, there's nice this, nice that, everything. So you can't get caught up in that and compare and see that, you know, one person is doing this. So I'm going to work 100 times harder.
Now let me ask you, when you what motivated you to go out there and be like, I'm gonna start this company up no matter what anybody says, and I'm gonna go for it.
Well, that stemmed back to baseball, because back through my baseball journey. So a little backstory. The name of the new company is called Dark Horse Motor Group.
Okay.
So if you know what a Dark Horse is?
Yeah.
So it's just somebody that does everything while everybody tells them they can't, right? So it's somebody, essentially, for like me, I like to work in the dark. I do everything behind scenes, and then when I'm ready to show the results, then I will.
They speak for themselves.
Yeah. So back in my baseball days, I was that dude, and like a million people, the one person they tell you can't do it, you won't do it, you're this, you're that, you won't do this, blah, blah, blah. So all of that motivation pushed me to become a professional athlete, which was a long, long journey. So that kind of just stems into now. So it's something that I wanted, and essentially now I think it's kind of like God's plan for my life, because it never passed me. In college, I thought about it, and then I went and played baseball for 3 years. 3 years later, it comes back. And then, we went back and forth 10 times about, moving forward with that. I don't know if you want to talk about that. But,
No,
we had talked about.
If you want to talk about it, because that's a good point. So
it's part of the story, dude.
There was a point where you were not in a sense ready to quit, but where you were almost ready to shift or move on, for say, correct?
Yeah. I would put it down as wanting to quit, essentially, but that's not in my nature. So it was more so just the struggles of life caused burnout, caused anxiety, caused stress, caused me to want to be done. And because I went through a bunch of employees and everything, and then it all fell back onto me, where I had all the work to do myself, and I just got tired.
Dude, I remember seeing you that one day behind the bank over by storage units, man. I think it was my first time meeting you in person.
Yeah.
And
I looked out the window and I saw you pulled in. I was like, huh. I was like, does he have a storage unit here or what? I was just like, how ironic.
No, I just remember
thought
seeing
that was
you were just so burnt out. You were exactly where I was just 3-4 months ago, just burnt out, just ready to quit. So what brought you back from that? What took you out of that? And you didn't even just come out of it. You came out of it and you doubled down. You went, you hired 2 more employees, bought another van.
Honestly,
what
man,
was that motive?
God, for sure. Because there's no way that so I went through that. I had probably 8 to 10 bouts of doubt and wanting to quit and wanting to sell and wanting to move, and asked my family and my clients, is just I wanted to move to Colorado, start a new life, all this kind of nonsense. And then this last one where it got with you, where we actually, got to the point where we agreed on a price and all this kind of stuff. And then it just clicked, and God's like, dude, no, this is what you're doing. Stick with it. And literally not even a month and a half after that, and we had met, I went and reinvested a ton of money in the business and bought a new truck, transport trailer, and a new van, hired 4 people, and just... So I basically, what happened was, earlier in the business, I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So 1 foot wanted to go back and play baseball, because I retired healthy. So there was this little desire to go back and play, try and play,
Head. Right.
I spent 24 years playing baseball, man. So I was just and the problem was I was looking up, I was just bored one night and was looking up, and I'm 1 strikeout away from being a career 100 in my professional days. So I'm I need that,
Right.
So literally I was just 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And so I was imbalancing for years, all while building the business, which is pretty crazy to think about. So then after that, I think God just kind of put me in a place. He's just go all in. Yeah. So I literally am all in now, and there can't be any more doubt, any more wanting to back out and retract. So it's...
Right. So I haven't really talked to him too much about it, but so when I was preparing to essentially buy you out, I remember we kept touching a lot on what are you doing next, and I kept asking every time. I'm like
yeah. How many answers did you get?
A lot and no, that was honestly scaring me. And I remember going back to a friend's house after one of the meetings, and she was like, oh, how'd the meeting go? I was like, oh, wonderful. Like, I think we're going to be closing on this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but there's just something about it that doesn't feel right. Like, it feels like there's something that didn't feel right, obviously, for you, and there's something that didn't feel right for me. I'm like, something didn't feel aligned. And then next thing you know, a couple weeks later, all of that happens, and then, you know,
it was crazy.
you're sitting where you're sitting now. I'm sitting where I am.
I mean, I apologize for essentially kind of I wasn't wasting your time, because it wasn't.
Everything
It
happens
wasn't
for a
my
reason.
design, man. I mean,
Everything happens for a reason, man. And
it was just crazy, and it's just like, you can't plan for that stuff, and you can't write that stuff.
No.
But essentially,
unreal.
you know, it put me in a better place. It put you in a better place. So it worked out. You
Right.
know? And when you look, and that's the thing with, like, you know, everything happens for a reason. People say that, but they always get caught up on, like, why.
Right.
You know, why. They need to know, like, a day after or 2 days after, and you'll never get that.
Because people are always chasing that closure. Yeah. And what a lot of people don't realize is sometimes the best closure is no closure. Obviously,
closure.
it's not. And in this instance, I think that we were just... It's funny because...
Well, you're a very ambitious, hungry dude, and so am
Yeah.
I. So it's just like, I move at a rapid pace. You move at a rapid pace. I wanted something that I thought I wanted, but it just wasn't in his plan for me.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't his plan. And same thing for me. And what's cool about it, though, is 90% of the people in our position, like, especially with how into it we were, like, we would not be sitting where we are right now. And if we were, we would be tussling all over this floor.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people who can do what you and I did and, like, prepare to buy someone out, do all that drafting, just for them to say no, and then come together onto a podcast a couple months later. Like, you don't, you don't hear of that.
It's great that obviously there's no animosity. It's perfect. That's when you know it was kind of like in an odd sense meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's another thing in life where it prepares you for more, right? It's another situation that I wasn't used to and was new to me, and in a situation that was new to you, and you learned from it, and I learned from it, and that's just...
Exactly.
That's life. It's life, man. So it's maybe down the road in, I don't know, 10, 15 years when it's bigger. But that's the thing, it's just like that opportunity, you know, brought us together. So if that's another networking thing. If another opportunity opens up down the road.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So it's just because, like, it wasn't this, it doesn't mean that, you know, there's a billion things out there that.
Yeah. To me, what I pulled out of it more than anything was just meeting another, like, true good person, like true down to earth good person. Like, I remember when I had gone back that same day, I was like, one thing like that I could just, like, not take away from him is how he was running, like, this company, this big of a company, and how he was just so humble and so down to earth. And I remember, like, telling her, I was like, I aspired in a way to be like, yeah, like, I really wish I could run, like, the company I'm running right now and be as humble as him. Like, that'd be...
Well, it's just, like
just
I said,
awesome.
It just goes back to, like, ego and stuff like that, man. And it's just, I don't know, I don't believe in that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I've tried to...
It's hard to speak on, but it's just, you know, there's no need for it, I guess.
There's no...
I mean, and it's not comparison, but it's like, who am I to speak out? Like, I'm proud of what I've done, right? But I don't need to be overly vocal about it. You know, it's just, it's my life, and it's what I build and what I continue to build. And, you know, what you build and what you continue to build is for you. And, you know, and then I look at it, and, like, I have clients that, you know, they own companies that are like the top 50 companies in the world. So it's when you, and again, not comparison, but it's just, and they're super down to earth people. Like, they're some of the nicest, genuine people.
Yeah.
And they're worth 10 to 15 billion dollars, right?
That's...
So it's, but they're so respectful to everybody. They treat everybody the same. And that's kind of like where I pick up on it, is that your success and your status and your money should never appeal to how you treat people.
Exactly.
You know, so it's, and you run into people that make a ton of money, and they use that as, you
to
know,
boost
to
their
look
ego
down on
and-
somebody, and that's so
they present
bad,
themselves in that way, essentially.
Yeah, and it's
Life takes care of those people, I'd say, for the most part.
So I don't associate with them, and when I do come in contact with them, I kind of
And
weasel out of that.
even if those people do have money, a lot of people don't realize you can have all the money in the world. If you don't have a family, if you don't have friends, if you don't have people that you surround yourself with that are, you know, there to help you and that care about you and are there to, you know, motivate you, then
I mean, that's the real wealth. Is
that's
all of that.
and health is a part of that as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so yeah, you do nothing with having $2 billion in the bank account and being on the verge of dying for whatever health problem or having no one by your side.
I mean, I don't know. I used to listen to Gary Vaynerchuk all the time, and I think he got a little too mainstream. But you know, he was always talking about. He's like, I got friends that make $50K a year, and they're the happiest people in the world. And you got people that make $50 million a year, and they're miserable, right? So, it's just what makes you happy differs from what makes me happy and what makes you happy. So, which should never be materialistic things. I love cars. I mean, I'll spend my last dollar on cars.
Oh,
but,
no, same here.
But it's like I won't go out of my way to.
The thing is, and this does tie a little bit into like social media and this new world, is there's like this false image out there that like, oh, like you get the cars, you get the house, you get the boat, and you've made
Which
it.
That's
it's
rental
like,
cars, VRBO, and,
right,
and fake money. So it's all
which
fake.
It's nice. Those things are nice, but that's not what you should be even aiming towards or looking towards. You should be aiming towards number one, becoming the best version of yourself, and then number two, being as valuable and as supportive as possible to those people around you. And all the money, the cars, the houses, the boats, the yachts, like that all kind of comes with it. But your roots should be there. And you can tell when someone's roots are there, when someone's roots are there. You can't hide that. You can't lie.
And then consistency with that as well. I mean, to build wealth, and again, that's something that I was actually going to ask you about. Is again, you played sports, so you had to be consistent with going to practice every day. How did you kind of translate that into building your business and staying consistent? Because at your age, you're a pretty young guy, and there's a lot of distractions. So, how did you go about that? What kept you laser focused?
Well, I mean, a business can't be built by sitting on the couch, right? So I just have like a desire to accomplish things, and like growing up in sports, I was immediately thrown into competitive nature, and trying to beat other people and be better than other people. And I say that in a humble way, not in a mean way, but it creates a drive and determination and everything to grow something. And I think with this business, it kind of took off quicker than I expected. And then to upkeep that is you have to work, and it's just days that I'm sick, like I still have to get up and work. I mean, that's relatively speaking. If I'm like deathly sick, I'm not going to get up, but it's like, that's why entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It takes a certain breed of person to get up and fight through battles and fight through this and still go to work and still accomplish and still get tasks done and be disciplined. And of course there's times where my discipline kind of falls off, but if it's instilled in you, it comes back.
No one's perfect, and there's always things to work on and to perfect.
And I don't know, as I continue to learn, like the best part about my business is just the people that I'm surrounded with, and obviously a lot of successful people, and the most amazing part is they shared their journey with me, and what they went through, and their like ground up story to get to where they're at, and that just motivates me to continue to do the same. And I think the cool part is I never dreamed, but I have employees now, and I have to take care of people, and to be that person, to be able to like take care of people and be there for people, it's amazing, man. So I have to get up and go to work, and I have to grow and continue to build a business so that I'm there for them and be able to support them and be that person. So
and
there's a lot of things.
So how's your relationship with like your employees go?
Great. I know to be truthful, I had kind of an interaction with one last year, and you work with people all the time. You're going to get to a point where it can get a little, you don't understand each other, right? So we had a little argument and kind of went our ways for a couple months, and then honestly, it was right around the time when all of this happened, and like God brought her back. It's a woman. Her name's Stephanie, and she's.
I think I'd seen her. You posted a video.
She's amazing. She'll outwork any male I ever know.
Yeah.
She's so detail oriented. She's super nice. She's sweet. She's great to my clients. But God brought her back into my life, and but we learned from it. That's the thing. So it's just gonna happen. I mean, you work with people 8 hours a day, every day. Altercations might happen, but
No, him and I, we
you gotta learn from it. Like if we get in an argument, like what caused that?
exactly.
And it goes back to the same thing. Like I deal with a
Exactly.
lot of things in my life and personal life that can affect how I react to people, and same thing for you and same thing for you. But it's also learning how to put that aside, and if it does happen, which it will, you just set that aside, come to an agreement, and
That's where
you move on.
So my mom had actually overheard him and I arguing on the phone the other day, and she was like coming out and she's like, "Oh, I just want to make sure you're okay with that." I'm like, "Mom, like that. If anything, that was amazing. Like that's the time when like him and I learn the most about each other, and truthfully, that's the time when we get shit done. Is when we're arguing with each other, because we'll argue, we'll scream each other on the phone for
45
minutes. the next 30 minutes of that phone call are pure solutions.
Productivity.
That 5 minutes of arguing, there's the problem. Boom, we come to a conclusion, and we both draw something out of that about
How long
each
you known each other?
Since high school. I mean, we've known each other for a while, but we got closer probably like senior year.
Senior year, I'd say we got close, but I think we've known each other since like about freshman year now.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's good though. Like I said, if you always agree with him and you always agree with him, what gets done?
Well, I think
It's just
I think Kaylin has some pretty good self-awareness when we're talking and we come into arguments. A lot of times I'm in the wrong, or if he's in the wrong,
I'm in
he'll
the wrong
admit
too.
to it.
that's the biggest thing.
He'll admit to it and he'll be like, "Yeah, I maybe overdid this a little bit."
See, that takes time to like analyze that too. That's happened a lot, and understanding like when you're wrong, it may not be immediately. You take time to process or whatever, but as long as you're mature enough to come together and be like, "Yo, dude, listen, like,
And communicate.
my bad." Like,
It's better to let that out and speak about that when it happens, get it figured out, get it resolved, and move forward, instead of letting it build. And then you just let something slide. And then the other thing. And then 3 weeks go by and you have a list of things.
and you have a huge explosion.
And, that does no good to anybody. Right. So
That's a life lesson there too.
It
I
is.
struggle with that just because my past like put me into pretty bad position to the point where like I just learned how to retract, like hard retract. So stuff would happen and I would just pull back. So I would just eat it up. For 30 years I would just eat everything up, man. So like my biggest thing is like my last name's Gay. So growing up I caught a lot of crap, and that was another motivator growing
I
up.
didn't
Was
know
it
this
just
until now. You okay back over there?
I know it's funny, but
It's funny, man. It's funny.
yeah. But no, it's just like I thought he was laughing back there. I was like, but yeah, it's just like, so it just taught me to like retract. So I understand that wholeheartedly. It's just there's times where something may happen and it takes like a week to get it out, which is horrible because then it just creates a bigger issue and a bigger issue. And then it's just,
in the
it's
long
not how it
term
needs
of
to be
it too,
done.
especially in this goes for anything, personal relationships, business relationships. You have to come to a sensus and learn that different people have different qualities and different attributes to them, and then step one is going to be learning those qualities and attributes to those person, but then step two is being able to implement sort of systems around it. And I know that sounds really centered towards business, but that can be personal too.
No.
Like learning, okay,
Well, just learning
she likes to
people.
do the dishes, I like to mop the floors. This works. Or with him and I, he's more like on like the systematic side of it. He loves the software, he loves the system, and I love a little more the creative side. So all the ad creatives and creating content and the branding.
And we had to butt heads to figure that out.
Exactly.
So it wasn't just, all right, this is what's going to happen. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. No, it was not good like that.
Just butting heads. It was months of butting heads. It was just recently we finally came to these senses and we're like, okay, hang on. I think I'm picking something apart here. And
but you're better off now though, right? So now you understand him better and you understand him, and it's just like you have your quality or your set of skills that you're good at, as do you.
Yeah.
So it's just like you let him do what he's good at.
Exactly.
And you do what you're good at.
Yeah. Now it's like
Because then the minute you start to like try and and that's a big thing about being like a business owner, is one thing I struggled with was delegating. It's just you get to a point where I built the business with my own two hands, so I literally learned to do everything. Like I built my own website, I did all the work, I did everything. I created my own cards, designed my own everything. I didn't do my logo, but So then when you get to a point to delegate and you're like, okay, I need this person to handle this and this, it's hard because it's trust. And for me, I'm a perfectionist, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But
Right.
so like I have to learn to take a step back and just trust that my people will do well. So same thing with you guys.
Not trusting that they're gonna do, like, because they're not gonna do a job as good as you will do. Even if, say, they do a job as good as always to you, it's never gonna look like that because you didn't physically.
And
do
that's
it.
something I need to
personally. But being able to step back and be okay with whatever they present, as long as it's a working solution, that's how you build and scale a company. If you get, you see a lot of businesses now that are so stuck in owner operator. I was stuck in it forever. I was always, no, I have to coat that car. No, I have to put the film on there. You can't touch it. And I was stuck in that phase forever. And it was just so restraining and constraining. Like there's no.
Well, that's where a lot of stress comes from too. And that's what caused me to want to like quit, was because when I got so used to doing all the work that when I saw the future, what did I see in the future? Me doing all the work.
Right.
So it's like, how can I grow this company? And how can, like, I'm doing all the work? Because like back when I had a couple shops, delegate. So I mean, you have to, having employees and not allowing them more freedom and more trust and more duties, responsibilities is horrible, right? So you can't just have employees and have them do just menial tasks all the time, right? So I've trusted a lot of mine, and now they're able to go out on their own and then move cars, put cars away, do like things that would really stress me out, because you're dealing with, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 cars. So moving them, putting them away, very stressful. But learning to let go of that and just understand I can't be there all the time, and trusting them allows them to feel more comfortable and work and want to grow and just love what they do.
And they have to, like you as a boss and as a person, especially for them to work for you for that long.
Exactly.
And they also, I'm sure they're aware that you're trusting them, and they have a big responsibility, and they kind of, it's mutual respect that's built over time.
100%. As an owner and like a boss, if an employee sees that I don't trust for them to do this job or this task, they don't want to. They won't want to work for you. So
right.
And in order to grow, that's it's like with my company. There's so much growth. I mean, there's management positions, this, and you learn how to do coatings, like all of this stuff that will come down the road. And as they learn to trust that I trust them, then they can grow, and they won't feel restricted within a company. So, which I think is a huge problem with a lot of companies, and a lot of actually larger companies that actually have the capital to scale an individual through a business. They keep them at a $16 to $20 pay rate,
right?
But they're worth $100 billion.
Right.
It's sad, but
it's almost putting a cap on them. It's like that. It's like that experiment where the scientists put the fleas in the jar for like 3 days, put the lid on, take the lid off, and then they never go out of the jar.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with employee. If you put a cap on an employee, especially from the beginning of that relationship, they're never going to, desire or attempt to sprout out. If you, limit them to purely prep work and detailing, and they see all these coatings and stuff going on here, and that's how you establish, that foundation and that relationship, they're never going to strive or, be motivated to, learn and grow within, your company, within themselves.
Because that's part of it too. As you grow and as your company grows, so do the people that are in it.
Exactly.
And you can't lose sight of that.
And I kind of leave it up to them too. You'll always have employees that are, that want to stay where they're at, and they're good at what they do, and they like being where they are. But exactly. But I leave it up to them, and essentially it's, you show me what you can do. Like for my whole life was I had to prove myself. Now I don't really kind of follow that motto anymore, but in a sense where you're trying to work up through a company and grow, the more you have to offer for a company is the quicker you'll grow. So the more you can offer our company, in your desire to learn paint corrections and learn this, or train yourself to do this, you write your own ticket to to growing. So it's
Yep.
it's just it's up to them. I leave it up to them, and if they want to grow, and I need like van managers and a shop manager, and you can learn how to do coatings, and it's just you just have to desire to
Let me ask
learn,
you now. So literally the last time I saw you, you were one man job in it, owner operator.
Oh, yeah.
What does your day to day look like now?
I mean, I still go out and work because I enjoy it, but I also have, I have a couple new employees, so I go out, supervise more, which is nice. But for somebody who likes to work, it's frustrating because
it's hard. Yeah,
it's hard to stand there and like let them work because I just want to work. But a lot of supervising, and then on the back end, growing the other part of the business, trying to the transport side and stuff like that is a new venture, so it's hard. It's not hard essentially, but it's not as like daily as detailing is, so it's harder to acquire clients, I guess. But I mean, it's
a startup versus the detailing.
I mean, I just launched the website like on the low a couple weeks ago just to get it kind of cycling through, and so I'm working on that. And
smart man, you know how you're getting that early SEO.
Yeah, okay. I just put it up there. I don't, I'm not putting it out there yet to build it, try and get it up there, but just to get it like seen through Google and all the SEO stuff.
We did the same thing. I've done that with all my companies now, weeks before I launch or weeks before we start fulfillment, we'll go in there, we'll put the website out there, start playing around with it. If you look now, I think my detailing website is still ranked on the first page just because of
trying to compete with me or what?
What? Huh?
Yeah.
Watch out, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, mine, I don't know. Mine, like, I don't know. I've messed with mine. I've tried to update it and stuff, but I don't know. It kills it how it is.
Now. So now that you got to remember, there's this whole world of automation and AI that,
AI is crazy, man. On the new website, I messed around with it and just kind of tried it out. You literally go in there and you type in like 6 keywords and it writes this like super professional paragraph.
ChatGPT, you gotta love it.
Dude, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So
it makes me sound like super intelligent.
That side of it.
That's something, and that's something that we realize. It's here. It's something you have to learn because it's something you're going to be able to capitalize on.
It's crazy scary. It's another one of those things. It's good, but it's scary, man.
It's scary. To me, I see it the same way as social media. If you truly ask me, Kalen, how big of a fan are you about social media? What do you think about social media? I'm really not for it. But here's the reality. It's there. It's growing. Yeah. It's the biggest hidden addiction.
At this point, it's not really hidden anymore.
It's not hidden. It's just
it's an addiction, but
it's something hard that you have to
in terms
manage.
of like out there broadcasted versus like fentanyl and all these all the drugs and alcohol. Yeah. It's known that those are addictions. It's still so new that people don't even realize they're addicted to it, and they're addicted to it. But like I was saying is, if those tools and things are there, and it's a fact that people are making money off it, why not be using it? And not even making money off it is, and there's the other side to it too, is making a positive impact on it.
Right.
There's 2 sides of social media.
Well, and that's where you need to learn how to manage it too, because it's such a powerful tool for any business. Like I was just telling my mom the other day that like she's very crafty. She can make like picture frames and like all this kind of stuff. So like, Mom, I just came across a video. They made like a custom phone case that was nice. But the video had 700,000 views on it, and it like 60,000 likes. So it's like you take those likes, cut it in half at 30,000 for sales. Say 30,000 of those sold for $10. You just made $300,000 on a 30-second video.
Yep.
So the power in that is insane.
Right.
For me, like I enjoy social media on the business side. My personal account got hacked a while ago, and I just let it go because I don't really care about it. But on the business side, like I have like just shy of like 30,000 followers on TikTok and 2,200 on Instagram or something. But the cool part is like on TikTok, like I have it Amazon affiliate. So when I use a product, make a video, I just tag it, and I don't even have to own the product, right? I mean, you know what affiliate marketing is. So, I made a video of this foam cannon I was using. It got like 1.2 million views, made like $400 on it.
Yeah,
I literally just made a 30-second video.
How long did that take you?
Yeah, I don't know, 20 minutes to make a video. So it's like, So I enjoy that part, and it's, for anything else, like, for people who put out like good quality content to like help people, like counseling, stuff like that, like you can get a story out and impact hundreds of thousands of people in a minute.
Which you could just.
But that's what needs to be like portrayed more, not all the, the half naked girls and the drugs and this and that and this. Like that needs to go, because the business side of it, you can make 6 figures a year on Instagram easy, right? And the same thing with TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So
I'd say a big problem, especially now, is you have a lot of people that are just trying to sell you a course, and there's no value behind it. But also, the person who buys that course, most of the time that person isn't willing to put in the work. And, you could buy a course, but the course isn't going to make money for you. You're going to make money for you.
Still have to get up and
right, and go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, the courses are a little bit of a. I mean, people are selling like a $300 course, and they've never done what they're selling.
Right.
They have no track record.
I can't even tell you how many people told me to start a course back when I had my detailing company. I mean, it crossed my mind a couple times, but I just know there was no part of me that was ever gonna like allow me to do that, because I was still learning at the time, and I was still new to the industry. I mean, obviously, I'd had some success in it, and that was due to other attributes, like maybe like the marketing and things like that. But I just wasn't for the whole culture. I almost saw it like the NFTs. Like it's just a quick cash grab. Like, how are you going to
pay $500,000 for a digital picture?
Yeah.
Where you could screenshot it and then own it?
Exactly. And expect any sort of long-term value out of that. And then this is where the dirty side of it comes in, is you get all these creators that have these big fan bases and have these big follower bases, and just using it. And that's why I threw my that's why I threw
for a negative. They're using it negatively.
Well, yeah, they're just trying to make.
There's something to do positive. They utilize the fan base properly, but
a lot of them are just in it for the money, and because there are people out there that care about their fans, because they realize that their fans are that what makes them who they are. But other people just take that, see that some random crypto scheme, put all your money in this coin, and then boom, you just lost all your money.
Yeah, I mean, and you can sniff it out real quick. Who's trying to, peddle something, and it's just like, I don't know.
Right.
So it's a
from our point of view. From our point of view.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But there's people that are so lost in it, and there's no way so and so would. They could never.
See, but they don't do research though. That's the problem. Like anybody on social media can be whoever they want. Like I could hop on social media and like I see these things on like Instagram. This dude's like, every day he's posting saying he's making like 2 G's a day doing mobile car washes. I was like,
solo?
It looks like it in the videos.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. What I'm saying is like you can be whoever you want.
If you're making $2,000 a day mobile detailing, you would already be known of outside of the social media world, because I mean, you and I could probably list off the top like the biggest detailers.
I honestly don't even think that that's like possible. Think about that. Like you look at other pricing markets in this industry outside of here. Like this is a rare little bubble here. So
yeah.
I mean, Naples, Southwest Florida. I mean, Naples is top 3 wealthiest cities in the world. Or not in the world, in the U.S. So, and not everybody has like that cash flow to pay for like luxury services. So, other places like in Illinois, when I go back, I see, some companies and stuff, and they're running like $45, $50, $60 to $60 details. So, how many $60 details do you do to make $2,000? Or even if it's even if it's a coating,
not any amount that's feasible in a day.
Exactly. Even if it's a coating, you're not doing 5 details and a proper ceramic coating in a day. Right. So it's like, again, back to my point is, I could go say I made $10,000 today washing cars, and everybody would believe me. Right. So it's just you can literally do whatever you can say whatever you want.
At the end of the day, it comes down to the user. It comes user in the social media world, in the real world. It comes down to the person, and that's the same thing with anything, doing any sort of research or jumping into anything, whether if it's a adventure, business venture, whatever it is you as a person have to do your research, and you have to be able to make your own judgments and make your own decisions.
Exactly.
That are thus going to carry you into whatever space you're carrying you next. Like you were saying, with this whole dirty side of social media, with all the courses and the half-naked girls, like, it's obvious Instagram's not going to do anything about it.
No.
The only people that are going to do something about it, and the only people that are going to make a difference and make a change,
true difference,
is the users, the individuals.
See, all the negative sides of like social media is what causes the bigger issues. So they cause the depression side. They cause the comparison to lead to stress, and the comparison causes like on the female side, like they get caught up in seeing like and male side too. It's just like they get caught up in seeing like what somebody looks like.
Right.
So then they like completely change their life to idolize
that person.
Where it's just like, and it's the same thing. It can turn to depression, which turns to drugs, turns to alcohol, turns to this, and then it just like it spirals, man. Yeah. And it's all from a phone app, and you don't even pay attention to your real life, like what's going on in your real life.
So that's why I call it it's the silent addiction. Yeah. Like you're addicted and you don't know it. Like when you're addicted to fentanyl, or you're addicted to cocaine.
Well, that's a pretty loud one, yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty loud.
I mean, they're all pretty.
Yeah. No, I'm going to get
straight to the point here. This is something where you can't sugarcoat this. With those things, at least the user or the addict, they're able to tell they're addicted. The scary thing with social media is half the time you don't even know you're addicted until you are. And some people still don't. Like,
the countless hours you spend on it, and then it turns into like you silently like change your life and to mimic these people and mimic like what they do, or like what they eat, or what they buy, and what this and that, and it's just like it's such a disease, man.
Right.
So that's why I just I have the TikTok and Instagram, and that's pretty much it. So just keep it on a business side, and but it's just
on Facebook.
No, Facebook's horrible, dude.
Yeah,
I hate Facebook.
Even in the marketing world, I don't know if this will be something I ever even accomplish. I still cannot like comfortably use that platform.
There's so many issues with it. Like I don't know. I mean, everything has data collection and stuff, but I think Facebook's one of the worst, where they just like mine all of your information, and they like
in the sense of that
I mean everything. I mean, we walk around with phones that they know where we're at every moment. It's scary. I mean, you're never gonna escape it. I just think Facebook's a dying app, I guess.
Facebook has Instagram, and then
Instagram's kind of on its dying too, but I don't know. I think I don't know. I haven't been on my Facebook in like 6 years.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
It's just
I mean, I hear good things about like on the ad side of it. Facebook ads are profitable.
Yeah, very beneficial and funny enough, very easy to use. But then like what I was coming from it is like, not that I obviously don't like, I do know how to use Facebook. I know how to post on it and comment on it and engage on it. It's just like the actual like user friendly aspect of it. Like it's just not at all, or maybe it's just how I grew up, because we grew up with Instagram, versus like our parents' generation, they grew up with Facebook. So there's like, you open the
20?
thing up and there's
19, 20?
20? 20, yeah,
okay.
20. Just turned 20.
So you guys grew up with like the modernized Instagram.
Yeah. Exactly.
See, I'll date myself again. Like I was around when Instagram first came out, and it was like super basic and just you literally just put a picture up and that was it.
Still
like
had that brown logo.
It didn't have anything else to it. Like that's all it was. And now like here today, it's nuts, man. I mean, it's a great tool when utilized properly, but when not, it's bad.
Yep.
So.
Well, with that being said, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Enjoyable.
Yeah. No, it was nice having you on. Nice talking.
I learned a lot. I'd say you're definitely very self-aware, and I feel
appreciate that.
You motivate yourself, and like we talked about, can control your ego, and that's something that's gotten you to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just live your life, man. I mean, when you get caught up in everything else and everybody else, that's when you kind of lose it, because then you want to do things out of your norm to compete with something else that's not where not where you're supposed to be. It's just
Exactly.
Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, dude, the journey is the most important. Like that, if I had one regret in my life, it was that I didn't enjoy the journey. Throughout my baseball career, just a quick ending is to focus on that, is that I was so focused playing baseball to, every kid in baseball wants to play in the major leagues. So my goal was to play in the major leagues. So the whole journey, I was work, injury, work. And then I got to a point where I was playing professionally in the minor leagues, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't like, geez, I made it, because I was still like wanting more, right? So that's why I focus in this business. Exactly. You have to stop and just like realize like what you've done, what you've accomplished, have a moment of pride and just continue to work
and embrace it. And what I call it is, we touched into this a little bit on the last podcast. I heard you mention like happiness, finding happiness in, finding happiness in the worst of it. I sort of look at it as joy, because let's be honest, at an all-time low point, when you hit your low, everyone has it. Everyone has their rock bottom. You're not happy.
You have to.
And nor can you find happiness. Yeah. Like it's not gonna happen. But there's something you can find, and this is what really separates people, is joy. You are able to find joy at the lows. You're able to find joys at the highs. And if you're able to grasp that concept and sort of live your life like, in that sense,
Joy, and I would add being grateful.
Joy and gratitude. Joy and gratitude. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're able to stem those two things throughout your journey, like you will end up at happiness.
Yeah.
That's essentially where that is what builds happiness.
Well, I mean, rock bottom is essential. I've been there a couple of times, and when you look at it, rock bottom, where's the only way to go?
Up.
Okay.
Up. But you got
it's that simple. I mean, it takes a crazy amount of work and a crazy amount of determination to pull yourself physically out of that. Yeah. But
especially by yourself.
But then you go back again to like you're learning from mistake. You're at rock bottom because things went wrong, right. And life can obviously kick you down pretty hard. But you learn, and then when you climb out of rock bottom, you're climbing out new and refreshed.
So you're climbing out. I don't say new and refreshed. You're climbing out better and refined. Because you're not a new person. You're not a new person in a way. You're the same person. You're the same,
But if you've changed.
You're refined. Right, you are refined.
I like
you're
refined. Refined is a good way, because I mean, essentially the same person, but refined by fire. Essentially, you get burnt up, come back out stronger. So.
That's what was so cool is, so funny enough for us, we were already in a partnership at this time too. We had both sort of hit our rock bottom at the same time.
How ironic.
In one instance, you could pinpoint it to the exact same time. So what was cool about him and I though is I remember like we were just sitting out back like on my patio and like just down so bad, and I just remember turning to him. I'm like, dude, like don't forget to put a smile on your face. Like we gotta like I'm like we need to.
You're still breathing, right?
As much as we're embracing this,
But it just puts you in that same place. That like then if you're at rock bottom, especially which is a good part is that you're together. So you know how to work with him. You know how to work with him. So you're at rock bottom, and now you can help each other. So it's two people helping each other out of the same situation.
Right. Exactly.
There's no way you can't come out of that
exactly,
stronger, right?
Exactly. It's I hate being like this because
you should, and then it goes back to the gratitude moment is that you had each other.
Exactly.
A lot of people they go through that alone,
Exactly.
So that can be drawn out over a year.
Yeah,
2 years.
It can get scary.
3 years.
It can get scary.
Lead to addictions, and you just. Yeah, I mean, your rock bottom could be 3 years, 4 years, and it just spirals. So
there's some people that don't come out of it.
Sadly, it's just because they don't have the people around them, and it's just
exactly.
But I mean, like I said, I was born through and went through a lot of things that kind of forced me to be kind of an animal, and I did a lot of things alone. And until I found God, like I understand that He is the one doing everything, but. Before it was like me, like I had to do everything. I didn't trust anybody. I had to do this and do this. So you should just be grateful for each other.
Yeah. So. But let me ask you, you've mentioned it a couple times that you'd sort of come to God and come to a realization. When did you really like when did that flip? When did you really like
So,
see that?
I mean, I grew up Catholic, so I know Catholicism is kind of a rough topic, but so like I knew about God growing up. I went to church, went to CCD, like went to like youth groups, stuff like that, but was never taught about like creating a relationship with God, which is essentially the most important thing. So long story short, probably the past couple of years, like I actually focused on building a relationship and like giving my life to God, which I'm like, my desire to do that is there, but I'm not, like the control side of my life is still like trying to hold on. So, but giving my life to God and telling him that my life is yours, like
That's a whole level
flip
of
this,
trust.
you let go, man,
Yeah.
and you let go. And like, I haven't let go of everything, which is, on me, but it's just understanding that you wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for him. Right, so then it goes back to gratitude and gratefulness and everything. Every day you wake up and if you're breathing and you can walk and you can see and you can feel and you can taste, like all of those little things get so overlooked, right? People walk out and they're like, I don't have a Lambo today. Like, I don't have my Lambo. Like, and then they get so caught up in that. But, every day you wake up and you thank God to even be alive. And just, he gives you the opportunity, hopefully every day, to one, grow within him, but then two, to live out his will for your life.
Exactly.
Man. So,
to live out his
I mean, you get to
life for you.
breathe, man. And you get to
it's
live.
awesome.
So it's like,
It's
and it's
awesome.
so overlooked. And I think that's what causes a lot of like stress and anxiety and depression in people. But
It's funny too, being in business, like how many entrepreneurs you come across that are, religious in some sort of way, or, just even more than just religious, just so connected with God.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the man that really helped me like come to God and understand who he was, and every morning he sends me devotionals at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And he owns one of the largest landscaping companies here. I drive past his house, like I'm going over there tomorrow, but you drive past his house and there's 150 trucks in his driveway, like in his yard. All the landscaping trucks, supervisor trucks, like the man is so successful but so humble. And he knows that because like God has granted him that business to take care of so many people on a crazy level, and you'd never know. You would never know.
Yeah, that's what's
so
cool.
like he's taught me so much about being humble in a business sense, and it's powerful. It is, man. And it's just like you can't like just be proud of yourself. Always be proud of yourself. Always want more, but don't take it to an extreme, And like he's I would just say a huge like inspiration to me, because he's so successful but so connected to God that all he wants is just to take care of people.
Right.
That man sets aside time every morning to send me a devotional, and he has the craziest day ahead of him, right? So it's like it's just little things, man, and it's
that's
just
awesome. And that's you have to have someone like that in your life. You do, you truly do.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not one to like obviously force religion on people, but obviously, I mean, I believe there's a God, and
right.
He loves everybody, man. We're all his sons and daughters, and
exactly.
None of us would be here. None of us would be here without him.
Each of us were crafted uniquely, and each of us have a different. He has a different. Plan,
perfectly in his eyes, man. That's all that matters.
Different side of mind.
So that just goes to the gratitude part. Just be grateful for your life.
Yeah, I think that's
a good place.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to close it off there. I don't think.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can't end it.
Period. It becomes a.
I appreciate your time, guys.
No, it was awesome having you on, man.
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
Likewise.